question that really made me smile has been, what are the learning of COVID-19 for the Indian real estate? Well, my counter question is, has the Indian real estate known to learn, adapt and move forward? The Indian real estate is not known to learn and innovate. In a business where demand far exceeds supply, they are still living in their good old days of glory when anything and everything was being sold. The world has changed. And, but still, to address this query, I will rephrase the question. What should be the learning for the real estate after this COVID experience? I'm witness to a whole lot of hype around the technology, prop tech. So I think the first learning for the sector must be that technology is just an enabler. It is not your last mile connectivity with the buyer as far as his sales commitment is concerned. This artificial intelligence, virtual tools, all will only bring the buyer to your doorsteps. That is one of the reasons that the developers who have made good use of technology, their conversion rate with the walk-ins have increased. Most of the developers who are making good use of technology have more qualitative walk-in buyers now. But having said this, in a business where the experience of majority of the home buyers have not been pretty good, it would be far-fetched to expect that only technology and use of technology will bring the buyer to the booking table. The second learning for the developers should be that product and brand differentiation is the key. In most of the cities and in most of the micro markets, across the board, most of the projects are identical. Most of the brands have the same kind of reputation and track record. The developers must need to create their own product differentiation and brand differentiation to stand out. Otherwise, the sales velocity will not pick up. The third learning is that you have to understand your buyer better. So far, the understanding about the buyer has been limited to his property requirement as well as his financial bandwidth to purchase it. The time has come when you have to invest to understand your buyer and his psychograph. Today's buyer, the fact of the matter is that most of the buyers are out of the market because of job uncertainty or salary cut. And the kind of buyers who are today are qualitative buyers, and they know, they are pretty conscious of the fact that they have a better bargaining space with the developers. So you have to understand your buyer better. Fourth aspect is that gone are the days of vague communication. You have to communicate with your buyers in a very straightforward, very holistic and honest way. You cannot mislead the buyer today. You have misled the buyer for quite some time. Now is the time for reality check. Your communication or the lack of it is taking your buyers away from your project. Fifth point or learning is financial closure of the project. See, I do understand that build and sell model is not possible in the Indian market for most of the developers. But to launch a project with minimum internal accruals and expect the buyer receivables to finish off the project is a far-fetched idea now. This is not going to work in the days to come. And the most of the stuck-up projects are testimony of the fact. Another debate about whether the buyers are looking for more open spaces and are open to the idea of going to outskirts. So the debate about urban sprawling vis-a-vis city center concentration, because most of the developers so far have concentrated in and around the CBDs, that is a very tricky question, but the developers need to do their own cost and benefit analysis. In those cities where you have better infrastructure on the outskirts, it's a better idea to go on the periphery locations. And where infrastructure is not available, you cannot afford to go on the periphery locations. This is something which is a clear learning, but something that developer has to draw a line for themselves. You have to redesign your project. That is the next learning. I am not saying so because work from home has become a reality, more so in the IT sector, and majority of the Indian home buyers are from the IT background. It's not just because of that. You have to integrate the concept of wellness in your project. So in a very holistic manner, you have to redesign your project. Last but not the least, one learning, because we all know that most of the consumer grievances are in the affordable segment, and the reasons are pretty obvious that across the segment of housing, whether you are selling a house worth 30 lakhs or you are selling a house worth 30 crores, the aspiration level remains the same. Because for the buyer who has bought over there, it is his life's costliest purchase. And it is here that most of the grievances are coming from the affordable housing, because an average affordable project fails to fulfill the aspirations of the buyers. It is time that you relook at your affordable housing project. Instead of offering in and around the city center, it's better to go on the periphery locations and save on the land cost to give more amenities to create better lifestyle for the buyers. In many cities, most notably in Delhi NCR or Bangalore or even Hyderabad, developers who have experimented this in the past have reaped the benefit. It may so happen that an affordable project on the periphery location will not be as fast selling as an affordable project within the city center. But then that slow selling project will not bring so much of disrepute to your brand as an affordable project within the city center. So these are some of the learnings which the developers must learn. The big question is, are they open to learn?